If we are going to be more conscious as a human species, it will require a new perspective on the fields of health, the environment, and wealth. If you're here in this space right now, or if you're watching online, then you understand in some capacity that life is kind of crazy and a lot of things are changing. And whatever is happening on the inside world is a direct reflection of the outside world. So maybe that makes sense. Are all of us a little bit crazy? Are all of us changing? I know I am. Crazy enough to think that I can change the world with every breath I take, just like all of you and everybody watching. Crazy enough to think that I can radically transform the entire field of healthcare with this one single talk. And crazy enough to stand up here on a stage without a mask during a global fear-demic and tell the world that the cure for any dis-ease is not a vaccine or a prescription, but rather it would be in their best interest to find higher levels of expression, to connect more intimately with each other, with themselves, and with nature. In the past year, I was going through a lot of changes in my life. And I want to share a story with you so we can connect and be human beings and recognize what happened on this planet. I was homeless, no money, no food, no cell phone service, no place to go. Sitting on the earth, crying in the southernmost region of Hawaii. And it was during all the changes that were happening on this planet. I was going through changes as well. And it was in that moment that I recognized I only had one way to go, and that was in. So I picked myself up and decided to take radical responsibility for every aspect of my life and all the changes that needed to happen. Because the world is no longer going to be the same. And we have to get past that. We have to create new systems of living, new paradigms of wealth, health, and environmental sustainability. I'm learning these things as well, just like all of you. And so I reached out to family and asked for support to book a plane ticket home. And here we are. I thought to myself, here I am, Dr. Evan Johnson, warrior of human consciousness and child of light. What happens if I take 100% responsibility for my life and dive into all the practices that I know, all the practices that we can do, whether you're here in this space or alone at your home or tuning in online? We can always go deeper inside to discover what is possible. And life will reflect that to you. That's how it works. And to go through all these changes, first I had to become nobody. No time, no space, no thing. And I said, hey, I did this to myself. Yeah, there's a lot of things happening in the world right now. But what if I decided to take the next step and become somebody? And then, wow, the recognition that I can be anybody. And so can all of you. And I think the planet went through this as well. The entire planet was in a zero space, some sort of a void. Nobody knew who to be or where to go or how to show up. And so this is one giant reflection on what's happening on the planet. Who are we going to be? How are we going to emerge from all of this chaos in the world? And what can we create? Yes, I'm a doctor and an author and a speaker, all the things. But really, I'm here to elevate human consciousness and have a lot of fun while doing it. And I think the world forgot what it was like to have fun. So let's think about what it would be like to open things back up and to be a human and to remember the feeling of being alive. I went through a lot of neurological sensitivity in my life, and my relationship with the traditional healthcare system is different than most people. These parts of me are gifts from the intelligence of life, and they are the parts of me that make me the most unique. And I know we all have those parts of ourselves that could use a little bit more love and the recognition that you are already whole. And I think that's where the healthcare system is going. Like I said, over the past year, I went through a lot of changes, and I was alone and creating a new life. And nobody believed in me when I told them that I was going to change the world with every breath I take, and that I was going to connect with other inspiring humans that were doing the same exact thing, and together, we were going to make a positive impact. So day by day, that's what we can do. And so I started to write a book and create online courses and do my part on the inside and the outside. And I know a lot of you watching today are doing that as well. So thank you for doing the work and doing whatever it takes to show up and to be here and now. And I want to remind you that you're in the right place at the right time. Nice work. And I remember sending a link over the past year to my mother and father. It was a link that was titled, "The Top 10 Most Famous Authors to Write a Book Before the Age of 25. And my father responded to me. He said, "Evan, go all in with what is most important." And it completely changed my life, because in that moment, it didn't matter what I thought was most important. And it didn't matter that our perspectives on what was most important were probably different. What mattered was, in that moment, I felt invincible, just like I do right now. And I'm going to do everything I can on this stage today to make sure all of you feel invincible before you leave here. And all the presenters in this conference are going to do whatever they can to make sure everyone who's viewing online can wake up a little bit more and feel a little bit more invincible and make a little bit more impact out there. And the reason I'm standing here today is because I've been through it, just like all of us. Every single one of you. Man, I love speaking. I love being on stages. My entire life, I always performed the best on a big stage. Being a college athlete, it always provided a slight level of chaos that allowed me to find a beautiful level of stillness. And it was in those moments that I created the best life I can imagine. And it's in those moments when I was able to fully express myself and be all that I am and sing my most authentic song. And so I ask, what is that for all of you here today? What is that for all of you watching online? How can you sing more of your authentic song? Not the song that the world wants you to sing. Not the song that the doctors and the coaches and the gurus and all the rest of the people out there are telling you to sing. What is your authentic song? I want to hear that. Let's be that version of ourselves. Like I said, a lot of the systems in the world are changing right now, and it's going to require a new perspective on health, the environment, and wealth. I want to share a story with you guys. The other day, I was in a massive bookstore, and I walked in with no mask, wearing my camo backpack, which had my computer, my passport, and a few other resources. I was wearing short shorts in the middle of December during a fear-demic. And I was walking around this bookstore, smiling at every person that walked by me, radiating peace and love and unity from every cell in my body, and nobody said a word. To me, it felt like the entire field was a little bit brainwashed by a program that told them not to be human, that told them to forget what it was like to feel alive. And so I walked around the store, dropping into books that caught my eye, and I found myself stopping in the back left corner in a section with books about the most inspirational speeches in the world and the most inspirational people to ever walk this planet. And in that moment, a lady walked by me and placed the book back on the shelf. And it was titled, "The World's Most Inspirational Speeches." And the cover was a canvas of all the people who have made a massive positive impact in the world. Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, all the people that we know. And in that moment, without even thinking, I said, I'm going to be in a book like that one day. And she said, I will buy it then. But also in that moment, I didn't care if I got into a book like that. Because when I look at those people who are on the cover, and I look into their eyes, I see the parts of them that are a part of me. And when I look into this audience today, and I look into this camera at all you people spread out across the world, I see the parts of myself that are a part of you. And the more and more this happens, the more I can dissolve into the complete beauty of life itself and realize, hey, I'm human, just like all of you. And we're all in this together. And we can all reorganize what is possible at the micro level and the macro level. And it's interesting now, as the planet starts to open back up, to think, what is a utopian society? What would that be like? If you ask me, all past versions of anything close to a utopian society have been way too stagnant and set in stone. This is not a true reflection of the human brain, the human nervous system, and the primal forces of nature. The true utopia is ecstatically vibrant, and it will always radically shift into higher levels of coherence, higher levels of intelligence, and higher levels of expression. It is at one with nature and the true capacity that humans have to connect with each other in real time, to adapt to our surroundings, and to evolve as a species. And so, how do we move forwards out of this crisis? And how do we show up in the world with how it is here today? To move forwards, I want to make sure that we all have somewhat of a similar understanding of the human body, or at least somewhat similar to mine, so we can connect and reorganize what's possible for the nervous system, for the brain, and for the field of life. The body is a receptor of information. Everything we see, everything we taste, everything we touch, everything we smell, everything we hear, it all gets recorded in the body and stored in the brain. Each part of the body relates to a certain experience that we've had in life. And so we can say that each part of the body has thought correlations that go along with it. And to be fully conscious of where the body is in time and space would mean that an individual is fully conscious of all the thoughts that come along with it. And so how do we move forwards? What's the next step? Well, there's also a field that extends beyond the body. It also carries information about who we are, how we show up in life, our thoughts, ideas, and beliefs about this reality, the patterns and cycles and waves that we go through to survive, to thrive, and to become who we're meant to be. This body is related to every aspect of who we are. The physical, yes. Also the mental, the intellectual, the emotional, and the spiritual. And again, for someone to be fully conscious of their life would mean that they're fully conscious of every aspect of who they are, starting at the very center, extending to the farthest region outside of us. And for something to happen to the physical body or an individual would mean that a person lost track of where they were in time and space long enough for something to cause harm or connect with their nervous system or have them reorganize a part of themselves. This can happen unconsciously or consciously. And it starts at the level that is furthest from us. Just so you guys know, all the birds are saying hi to you online today. And we're so happy that you're here. So, moving forwards, now that we have a recognition of where the body is in time and space and its relationship to the field of life, what do we do next? How do we show up? Well, you can see that the future of healthcare, which is something that I care a lot about, is less about providing a prescription or a vaccine or a surgery to fix things inside the physical body. Rather, it's about increasing awareness. So a person is aware of their own needs, can navigate their own life at the physical and every aspect of who they are. And what a beautiful world that is. To be fully conscious of the self in time and space. To be fully conscious of others and how our thoughts, words, and actions influence the field around us. And to be fully conscious of the environment. And how we can live a more sustainable and regenerative life. I know there's a lot of people on the planet right now making massive changes on the inside and the outside. And a lot of people in this room are doing this work as well. And it's all necessary for us to continue into the next level of existence together. And so, in the recognition of a new system of healthcare, what an honor to remind people that they are already whole. That is healing. And to remind people that they are already wealthy. That is deserving. And to remind people that they are a part of nature and the natural world, not separate from it. And so here we are in this space, wondering what's next. How can we take the next steps? I don't think it matters as long as we take the next steps together, just like all of you are doing and just like all of you are doing online. If we continue on this path, we will see incredible changes in the future with health, wealth, the environment, the abolishment of racism, gender equality, new school systems, the evolution of plant medicine, open spaces where people can express or ecstatically dance to the vibrant sounds of music. Beautiful spaces where people can discover nutritional supplements at the right time, at the right place. Instead of searching for the nearest medical test. And showing up as the authentic self. Ready to connect and not retreat in mass hysteria. And so what is next? Guys, impact must be made. And I don't care if it's me or someone out there. Impact doesn't need to be known. It just needs to be felt. So let's stick together. Here in this space, we have a lot of incredible people. And out there in the world, you guys are incredible as well. So from this moment forwards, let's connect, let's play, let's mastermind, and let's have fun. Because that's what it's all about. You are the warriors of the future. You are the medicine. You are here and now, in this space or online, to make a massive impact and play big. So, without further ado, let's get to work. Thank you so much.